Hey everyone, this is Liam, and welcome to Cine Review Hub. In this video, as we do every month, we're going to take a look at the most anticipated movies and TV series scheduled for release next month, which is November. First, I'll go through the movies, then we'll check out the series, and finally, we'll review the box office chart to see how the films I introduced last month performed at the box office. Coming up this month, we have two big drama films, both highly anticipated, and we'll probably be hearing a lot about them during the Oscar season. The first one is the sci-fi drama Bugonia, which is the new movie from Yorgos Lanthimos, the same director we loved for Poor Things. He's teamed up with his old crew again, which means Emma Stone is in the film. This is her 7th collaboration with him. A lot of Lanthimos' movies are made on very small budgets, but this one has a higher budget and was shot on 35mm film, meaning the picture quality, just like in Poor Things, is extremely high. Bugonia is a remake of a Korean movie called Save the Green Planet. The story is about two people who are obsessed with conspiracy theories. Because of this, they kidnap the CEO of a huge international company, convinced that he's an alien who plans to destroy Earth. Lanthimos' style is often to mock social norms or present bizarre narratives about human relationships, something we saw in his older films like The Killing of a Sacred Deer or The Lobster. His movies always have a certain dark humor. This one will likely comment on people who have conspiracy delusions. Another important point is that the writer is Will Tracy, known for the screenplay of The Menu and the series Succession. His specialty is creating strange situations and complex dialogues. The film was critically acclaimed at both the Venice and Cannes film festivals. It scored 91 on Rotten Tomatoes and 72 on Metacritic, with publications like Telegraph and Variety giving it a perfect 100 out of 100. The performances by Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons received high praise. Some are even saying Emma Stone is a likely Oscar nominee, especially for a scene where she shaves her head on camera. The movie is set to be released in theaters on October 31st. The next movie that's also highly anticipated is the psychological crime thriller Die, My Love. Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence star together in this one. Martin Scorsese produced the film, and he personally selected Jennifer Lawrence for the role. The story is about a couple who are about to become parents and decide to escape the city hustle for an old house in the countryside where the father grew up. However, the mother develops severe postpartum depression, so intense that she can no longer distinguish between reality and delusion. Jennifer Lawrence's performance in this film was praised, with some suggesting she might win the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and that she's a strong Oscar contender. Interestingly, Jennifer Lawrence is one of the film's producers and insisted on playing the mother. The directing style is also very precise. The aspect ratio is 1 to 1.33, meaning the picture is square, shot like classic films. The left and right sides of the screen are black to convey a greater sense of suffocation. It was filmed in the style of Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. Polanski's specialty in horror is often characterized by silence punctuated only by the sounds of wind and birds, to evoke loneliness and psychological terror. Due to sexual scenes and bloody scenes, the film has an adults-only rating. It received a score of 78 from Rotten Tomatoes and 70 from Metacritic. It is scheduled for release on November 14th. The next three films I want to talk about are thrillers designed for the box office. The first is the third installment of Now You See Me 3. The second film was released in 2016, which means there's a 9-year gap between parts 2 and 3. The third part features an excellent cast: Rosamund Pike, Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Mark Ruffalo, Daniel Radcliffe, our very own Harry Potter, and Morgan Freeman. The director is the same person who directed Uncharted, Venom, and Zombieland. The story once again revolves around the original 4 illusionists who, after many years, plan a new mission to steal a large, famous diamond. Because the job is so risky, they add new members to their group. The interesting detail is that the movie was filmed in Abu Dhabi, specifically at the Louvre Abu Dhabi Museum. Part 3 hasn't even been released, but Part 4 has already been greenlit and pre-production is underway. It is set to premiere on November 14th. The second exciting film is The Running Man. Glenn Powell and Josh Brolin star in this one, directed by Edgar Wright, whom you might know from Baby Driver. So you can already guess that the film features very fast-paced editing. This is also a remake of an old movie from 1987 that starred Arnold Schwarzenegger. The story is a bit cliché. It's about a dictatorial regime in the US where people live in extreme poverty under the government. This dictatorship has set up a competition for participants. They can run anywhere they want, and the police will hunt them for 30 days. If they manage to evade the police for 30 days, they win enough money to last them a lifetime. The movie is filmed very much like a road movie, with the protagonist constantly on the run. It's scheduled to be released on November 7th. The third thriller is Badlands. As you might have guessed, this is a new installment in the Predator film series. If you follow cinema news, this part had a lot of advertising hype. It received a lot of media attention at Comic-Con, with many promotional details, especially with Elle Fanning as the star of the film, whose images went viral online. About 2 years ago, the film Prey was released, and was so well received that the same director released an animated film from the Predator series, which was also welcomed. Now, the same director has his third adaptation from the Predator universe, which is the 7th film in the Predator franchise. However, this story is a bit different from the previous ones. For the first time, this one takes place in the far future, on a completely different planet. The film's plot is about a robot and an exiled predator. The main protagonist isn't human, and Elle Fanning is the robot. These two form an alliance to escape the other predators, meaning for the first time in the series, a predator is both the hunter and the hunted. The trailers also show scenes that suggest parts of this story share visuals with the movie Alien, taking place in a shared universe. Fans might see a crossover between the Alien and Predator worlds in the third part that the director has in mind. This movie is set to be released in theaters on November 7th. The next film I want to tell you about isn't an artsy festival film, nor is it a major thriller, but we hear its name a lot in the news, and it's a very expensive movie, Wicked Part 2. It was released last year, and Parts 1 and 2 were actually filmed simultaneously. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are the main stars in this new part, and the same director from the first film returned. The story starts exactly where the previous part left off, and we'll see how the Wicked Witch tries to prove that she's not a bad witch. Part 2 has more musical numbers than the first part. While 23 musicians were present on set for the first film, 125 were there for the second, and some of the musical sequences were performed live on set rather than recorded in a studio later. In the Oscar ceremony, the set design, costume design, and everything related to color and visuals were highly praised, and it won many awards. The same is likely to happen for the second part, and it's one of the most highly anticipated films at the box office. How can we tell? Because it has already sold $13 million in pre-sale tickets. That's $13 million before the movie has even been released. Also, the film was originally scheduled for a December release, but they were afraid of Avatar 3 and pushed the release back a month to avoid competition. It's now scheduled for release on November 21st. The next two films I want to mention are not highly anticipated in terms of box office, but they are festival films, and their names have been widely mentioned in cinema news. The first is Sentimental Value, which once again stars Elle Fanning, co-starring with Stellan Skarsgård. Joachim Trier directed the film, whom you might know from The Worst Person in the World. The story of Sentimental Value is about an actress named Nora and her sister, whose father suddenly returns home after a long absence. The father is a filmmaker and wants his daughters to act in his new movie, but the girls don't trust their father and conflict arises between them. As I mentioned, the film was highly praised at festivals like the Venice and Cannes Film Festivals. It scored 95 on Rotten Tomatoes and 89 on Metacritic, and is set to be released in theaters on November 7th. The second festival film has been frequently in the cinema news. It's a sports drama called Christi. Why have we heard about it so much? Because Sydney Sweeney plays a boxer in this film. The movie is entirely based on a true story. We're going to see the story of Christi Martin, the first openly lesbian American female boxer who lived 40 or 50 years ago, meaning she went against the social structure and norms of her time in every way. Sydney Sweeney gained 14 kilograms of muscle and fat for the role, and critics praised her performance, but many experts predict the film is cliched and repetitive and will fail at the box office. It received a score of 63 from Rotten Tomatoes and 65 from Metacritic, and it's scheduled to be released on November 7th. The last 4 films I want to introduce are all generally anticipated, but since they have very good actors, I'll keep the introductions brief. First up is Nuremberg, starring Russell Crowe and Rami Malek. The film's story is about the Nuremberg trials, the court hearings where Nazi party leaders were tried after World War II. Rami Malek plays a psychologist who is supposed to talk to the Nazi leaders to determine if they are psychologically fit to stand trial, which leads to a lot of tension between Malek and Hitler's right-hand man. The film is set to be released on November 7th. The second mostly anticipated film is The Rental Family, anticipated because Brendan Fraser is starring in it. The story is about a failed American actor who immigrates to Tokyo to work for a Japanese company that rents out men to people who don't have a family, to play the role of father or husband. Brendan Fraser's performance was praised by critics, and the film scored 94 on Rotten Tomatoes and 66 on Metacritic. This one is coming out on November 21st. The third generally anticipated film is The Family Plan Part 2. Mark Wahlberg and Kit Harington, our very own Jon Snow, star in this film. The story is quite cliché. It's about a wealthy family whose father's former identity as a spy is exposed, leading terrorist groups to attack them, and they have to escape from Las Vegas. It is scheduled for release on November 7th. The fourth and final generally anticipated film is The Playdate. Kevin James and Alan Richardson star together in this one, following the winning comedy formula where a serious man is forced to team up with a clumsy man. The film tells the story of 2 fathers who are supposed to look after their children. They arrange to go to a place where the kids can play, but everything goes wrong when the children get lost. The film is produced by Amazon and will be released on the streaming service on November 12th. We can download and watch it right then. Now, let's talk about the movies that will be available in good quality this month. The first one is the highly anticipated Frankenstein from Guillermo del Toro, which will be released on Netflix on November 7th. Let's move on to TV series. First, I'll introduce the older series that are releasing new seasons this month. The first is Season 2 of The Landman, which will be broadcast on November 16th. But let's look at the new series whose first seasons are coming out this month. One is highly anticipated, the series Pluribus, the new creation by Vince Gilligan, the mind behind Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. The series is an Apple TV production in the psychological sci-fi genre, and it's said to have very heavy special effects, which is why the director went to Apple TV. The story is very creative and interesting. It's set in the future where a disease suddenly spreads widely across the world, a virus. This virus has a strange effect. It makes everyone feel happy and naturally satisfied with their lives, essentially washing away all feelings of sadness and misery. Everyone on Earth becomes infected, but our main protagonist is immune to the disease. This person realizes the world is headed for destruction and must make everyone aware of their misery. A strange thing is about to happen in the show. The saddest person in the world must save people from happiness. The series has a total of 9 episodes. The first 2 episodes will be released together on November 7th, and then the rest will air weekly on Fridays. The interesting thing about this series is that it has already been renewed for a second season. The other 2 anticipated series I'll introduce briefly. One is Last Samurai Standing. This series is produced by Netflix and is exactly an adaptation of the novel of the same name. It tells the story of 292 samurai who gather in a temple to compete for a $100 billion prize, meaning they must fight each other to the last drop of blood until only one remains. All episodes of this series will be released together on Netflix on November 15th. We can watch it right away. The last series I want to introduce is the animated series The Bad Guys. This series is a prequel to the Bad Guys animated movie series and will tell the story of how this group of rascals and villains rose to their current fame and became notorious thieves. This series is a joint production between Netflix and DreamWorks. This series only has 5 episodes. The first episode is set to start airing on November 6th. Well, that's enough about movies and series. Let's move on to the box office. The box office chart is based on US earnings for October, but I'll also give you the total worldwide gross. 5th place goes to the new Taylor Swift film, which isn't a movie at all, but the behind-the-scenes footage of her music videos, which did very well. It grossed $34 million at the US box office and $50 million worldwide. 4th place goes to The Conjuring: Last Rites, which had phenomenal sales. It earned another $37 million in October, but what's important is its total worldwide gross, which reached $474 million, an outstanding performance for a horror movie. 3rd place belongs to Tron: Ares, which is pretty much a commercial failure. In the 10 days it has been released, it grossed $41 million in the US and $68 million globally. Given its $150 million budget, it's very likely to end up as a commercial failure. 2nd place belongs to the anime Demon Slayer: Kimetsu no Yaiba, which has been in theaters for over a month and has had extraordinary sales. It earned another $45 million in October at the US box office, bringing its total worldwide gross to $580 million, making it the highest-grossing anime in history. 1st place goes to One Battle After Another. This film managed to gross 57 million yen at the US box office and $142 million globally. Considering the film's budget was $150 million and a portion of the sales goes to the cinema owners, this film is also very likely to end up as a commercial failure. Alright guys, that's it for this month's video. I hope you found it interesting. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next month's video, goodbye.